So recently, I have gotten a comment on one of my previous videos which asked me if I could display my best artwork. So you know what? I'm gonna do it. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Saba Kozlov, though you might know me as Sobs, and today I'm going to be taking a look at some of the best artwork that I have created over the years. Now, of course, I have a lot of stuff to show here, so first things off, we're going to start off very simple by displaying this sort of drawing slash painting that I made about 2 years ago. I was actually auditioning for the high school that I currently am going now. So I decided to draw something based on architecture because that was my preferred major. And as you know, it turned out way better than I expected because I had to look up on the screen and draw it, so I didn't even do any tracing. And the color, which I decided to add later on, just sort of ties in this thing all together. I'd say it's about an 8 out of 10. So next, we're going to do my 9th grade sketchbook. I used this for the entirety of my year at 9th grade, which just concluded last week. And basically in this book, I had a lot of drawing exercises which I was told to do during my classes and in my projects, which is why this book is filled with many unfinished drawings and also completely full-fledged projects. Now, I did a lot of stuff in here like cross-hatching as a way of inking. I've also done a lot of facial exercises, like how to draw faces, how to also shade in details very well, and also generally how to draw stuff that's proportional, some stuff in perspective too. Generally, I am very proud of all of this stuff. I really like what I did in here. The growth that you can see in the sketchbook is very immaculate. So I'd say personally, it's a 7 out of 10, because you know, it's a work in progress, but it's still a 7 out of 10. It's very good. Moving on to the big stuff, I have my giant portfolio case. This thing, you can't even see it on the floor. This is really big. I don't even know how I'm gonna open this. This is huge. Okay, let's get the zipper open. And I have quite a few works in here. I have a lot of stuff in here. So let's just go through some of these stuff really fast. So after clearing out some of the older stuff in my portfolio that was either not mine or papers that I simply put in there because I didn't have anywhere to put them, I have quite a few artworks to show you. So first off is this watercolor piece. I did this in preparation for one of my high school auditions. It didn't turn out too well. I ended up doing a better version of it later on, and generally this looks way too rushed and it looks like a draft, so I'll give this a 6 out of 10. This is a comic that I made right around 6th or 7th grade, also accompanied by a drawing. I made this in 6th grade because I was really into Pokemon back then. As you know, probably from one of my earliest videos on my early channel, you can see that, yeah, I really did like Pokemon. So I made some comics based off of that, a big on my own journey, but I put this as a 5 out of 10 because it's a simple cartoon style, there's no coloring, and it's not an original idea. Next up, we have this flower that I also drew in 6th grade. I think this is a solid 7 out of 10 because that was probably the best thing I've done all year, and even though, yeah, you can see much of the chalk lines still look a bit rushed, it's still very good. I really like how I shaded the back. I like how I blended in the blue and the yellows and the oranges and pinks. And I'd say this is a solid 8 out of 10. This right here is a solid 9 out of 10. I did this when I was in 8th grade, also in preparation for an audition, and this actually took me 2 days to make, so this is like an extensive project that I worked on. I didn't think it would turn out this good, yet it did. Like, you can even see from far away, it genuinely looks like it's a real ice cream cone, which I really like. It's very pleasing to look at, so yeah, I'd say this is a 9 out of 10. So far, this would rank as the best piece. Then we have a pair of sneakers that I drew when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I can't remember which. I remember I had to do this for an art project in my middle school, and we did this basically using a grit method, which was erased later, but still very realistic, though there is some mess going on in this area, so I'd say this is a 7 out of 10. I really like this. In my 8th grade class, I was with an art teacher who made us draw hands for literally the entire first half of the year, which is why obviously I have a very distinct hand drawing style in many of my animations, so thank you to that art teacher. If you're watching this, thank you. This is what you helped me do. Yeah, this is a 8 out of 10. I really like this one. Next up, we have a bunch of fruits. I really like this one. I did a really good job on the highlights. This was literally my first time ever when I did this. It was my first time ever using oil paints, so this is an 8 out of 10. In my 7th grade Spanish class, we actually had an entire unit dedicated to calligraphy. So I think the combination of learning how to do calligraphy, and it incorporates muscle memory and also writing the calligraphy words in Spanish. I decided to put this because I really liked calligraphy. It's fancy, it looks nice, and I think it helped me score extra points at an audition, which is why I decided to put my portfolio. As you can see, I did a Winston Churchill quote. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. Edgy. This is a piece that I'm very proud of. I did this watercolor landscape. We had a choice of many different landscapes you could choose from. I chose this since it was obviously the hardest one to pack. I sort of keep looking. I really enjoy how I did the grass here. I did the clouds and the sky and the tree. I think it's a really nice piece. It is very refreshing to look at. It helps you rest, I guess I would say. This is a 9 out of 10. This goes in my favorites too. Next up, I have the smaller and final version of the watercolor piece that I showed you before. And this is much more finalized, it's much better, it has more attention placed into it, which is why this one I would give a 9 out of 10. It's also one of my favorites since I consider watercolors to be one of my favorite ways to make art. Oh, then I have a bunch of spoons here. This is not artwork, I just use it for practice. I just thought I should put it in a video since spoons are great. So this is a poster, a movie poster, a Russian movie poster. This is from the movie Niebo Zavyot, which translates to The Sky is Calling. And it basically follows what happened during Yuri Gagarin's flight into space when he became the first man to orbit around the Earth. And so this is a very symbolic movie. It's about space. I like space, and I also like Russia because I'm Russian. So I think this is a really stunning choice that I wanted to make. And as you can see, I was in 7th grade when I made this. It's not as advanced as the stuff I do now, but it still turned out really good. I put a lot of detail into it, as you can see. The clothes, folding lines, the face, the sort of movie art style that the Soviets used back in the day. And I generally like this. I really like this. So this is a 10 out of 10. This is the best artwork that I've ever created. Let me just make sure that it gets in the camera. Yeah. This is the best artwork that I've ever created, so if this answers your question on what was my best work, then I hope this answer satisfies you, because this is a really good piece. I really like it. Yeah. So after I cleaned up all of the artwork that I took out from this portfolio, I hope that this answers your question about what was my best work, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to continue to patch up my portfolio, clean it up, get all this out here. I hope you enjoyed the video again, and make sure to stay tuned for animations coming all throughout the summer. I will see you in another video. Peace!